Here are the horoscopes for the week of the 26th of September to the 2nd of October 2016. We begin the week with Pluto turning direct in Capricorn on Monday, and this is part of a very long journey. Pluto spends 14 years in each sign, so in 2008 Pluto went into Capricorn, and as a result of this we'll have many backwards and forwards during that 14-year phase. But this particular one takes us back to mid-April. So Pluto turned retrograde in Capricorn in April, and Pluto's job is to deconstruct, to die to the base, to rise up the energy and to be reborn to the crown, to turn base metal into gold. It's an alchemical process with Pluto, deconstruction, especially when retrograde. So if we look back to mid-April, what have we deconstructed? And as Pluto turns direct, what's changed, what's been firmed up, what's actually supporting us now. As a result of that necessary deconstruction, we should be stood on firmer foundations. And Capricorn is very much the rock that we stand on, the foundations of our life, what we stand on and for, and therefore how much higher we can reach as a result of that. So if you've seen very slow and very powerful deconstruction since mid-April, you should feel firmer now, you should have a much more solid base. This can often come around in family situations, deconstructing our psychology of the nest that we were brought up in, making sure that our beliefs and our psychologies are our own, rather than trying to build our castle on sand, on false beliefs, negativity, and things that are no longer relevant in this age. So very deep and powerful, not something that often appears in our conscious mind, but a journey that we've been on for the last 5 months to actually get to know ourselves, to feel stronger in ourselves, and to get that strong but flexible core. And we can go forwards now feeling more supported and feeling more centred and feeling more purposeful as a result. To add to the Capricorn energy, by Tuesday we have Mars going into Capricorn. Now Mars will meet with Pluto on the 20th of October, so that's an approaching conjunction which will feel quite slowly. But Mars on its own in Capricorn is where we direct our energy. So we've had a very backwards and forwards year so far. There's been a lot of breakdown, and this should be part of the breakthrough now with those firm foundations that we've set with Pluto. Mars tells us to take our solar energy and direct it, to take our passion and our dynamism. So there's a number of aspects we've been talking about over the last few weeks about hold on, not yet. It's not time to make plans or set intentions with the Mercury retrograde and other things. But now, as we've gone through the equinox point, as we're finding that balance, we can actually go into the last 6 months of the year, of the zodiac year. As we enter into Libra, we can take this Mars energy and we can direct that to something more purposeful. So there's a laser beam kind of energy, there's a focus, there's a surety and a strength that we know what we're passionate about, we know what we can achieve, we're supporting ourselves, we're centred, and now we can actually take that energy that we've journeyed into over the summer to find the real point, the juice, the motivation, the rocket fuel to our projects, and now we can actually be pinpoint in directing that. So it is a little bit like a rocket sat on the landing pad ready to launch there with Mars in Capricorn for the next few weeks, and that will take us up to the second week of November. As we go through the middle of the week, we have the dark moon in Virgo, so those last chances to let go of limited beliefs, self-limitation, self-doubt, judgment, all the downside of Virgo, all the limitation, all the process of struggle, all the trying to be super productive, all the working for the sake of working, the distraction of our energy. We can zoom that right in now and let go and release and banish over Wednesday, Thursday with the dark moon in Virgo, because we're being called now to be much bigger. So Virgo attends to the detail and is very good at that, but can sometimes get lost in the detail, can sometimes get lost in the judgment, I'd like to do this but, and the rational thought comes in and stops our goals immediately before they've even left. So here we have 2 days where we can let go of anything that's belittling us, anything that's too small, any chatty narrative that's not actually serving us, and we can have a ritual there really to let go of that with gratitude, because we're getting ready to step into some very big energy. So throughout the whole week we have the Sun and Jupiter next to each other in Libra, which is very, very beautiful. The Sun is our life force energy, and Jupiter is our magnificence, our majesty, how we radiate, how we actually grow, our sovereignty. So sovereignty and life force, those are two very, very big energies, and they're together in Libra all week. But by the time we get to the new moon on the 1st, then we actually have the Sun, the Moon and Jupiter all together. And they're all together in the sign of Libra. So Libra is coming out of the autumn equinox. It's the balance of higher and lower, inner and outer, masculine and feminine. So we're balancing and calibrating at this time, and by the time we get to the 1st on the new moon at 8 degrees Libra, then we've actually got the lighting of the candle on the cake. And this needs to be, now that we're cleansed, where can we actually radiate more brightly, further reach, how to actually do things with less effort but allow that to flow across the airwaves, unrestricted, unlimited, and into its true magnificence. So it's a radiant, growing, golden, fluent, creative energy that comes from very deep within. So this is a beautiful new moon to come along at this time. It almost feels like New Year with this much potential. And if we hold that potential, especially with Mars going into Capricorn, we're ready, we're actually jiggling with excitement, then by the time we get to the new moon at the weekend, then we're ready to set those intentions and have those flow out. And Jupiter will be in Libra for a whole year, so this is going to set the tone for the year. And Libra is partly about relationships. So firstly, it's about our relationship with our divinity, with our inner higher self. And then secondly, that can be reflected in our relationships with significant others as well. So we're going to be taught over the year how emotions need space to flow. We're dealing with an air sign here. So Libra can fall into the romantic side of things. It can be a little bit rose-tinted at times, but Jupiter's going to come along and wipe some of that away so that we've actually got enough space to let the other person be free, to let ourselves be free, and to let those two souls flow with air in between, with the meeting and the parting feeling more like a double helix than a prism, which some relationships can be when they're dependent. So relationships are up for review. What is relating? How can we expect somebody else to provide for us something that we're avoiding providing for ourselves, something that we won't give to ourselves or accept in ourselves? So there will be a clearance over the next 12 months of anything that's stopping us from being our biggest expression. And once we step into that, then we see our relationships flow much more sweetly as a result. We continue the phase of letting go of control. If you step into your own majesty, then can you allow the other person theirs? Don't try to super control or project onto somebody else any internal issues. Deal with our own issues and then allow the other person their state of sovereignty as well. So there's a sense of emotional integrity, especially because Venus is in Scorpio at the moment, digging out any of those manipulative behavioural processes, but there'll be a state of emotional integrity and flow as we go through this phase, and this is very much started by the new moon in Libra at the weekend. As an air sign, Libra is very connected with vibrations, the vibrations that go through the air. So when we get to that pure heart state, when we accept our wholeness, we clean up the shadow side and step into the bigger part of ourselves, then your heart is actually a transmitter and you're raising the frequency that you're transmitting. So this is what creates better relationships on the outside, because once you're transmitting on a higher vibration, you'll attract on a higher vibration as well. So it's really worth learning the law of vibration and how the heart actually works outside of the body, sending out huge waves, measurable hertz frequency waves out of the body and then modulating back on that frequency. So we can use the Venus in Scorpio that we have at the moment to have a look at any anxiety, guilt, shame, anger, frustration, because these are low frequency vibrations. These emotions transmit a very low frequency and then cause a chaos field to come back around us. And if we keep projecting onto others, that holds that field in place. So to break through with this beautiful energy of Jupiter, we need to actually raise our own vibration, and everything is aligning so perfectly for us to do that right now. Although we've been taught and programmed to accept guilt and shame and frustration as normal, they're not. That's part of the human dynamic, that's part of the prison. So can you actually challenge? Can you afford to feel guilty or shameful or angry or frustrated? Or do you want to take that and actually study it, get to the point of it, release it, and then rise up to get over it once and for all, so that you're constantly transmitting on a higher vibration and therefore constantly gliding in more harmonic waters. So we get to know our true tone, we get to listen on those airwaves, we get to raise the frequency, we get to face the blocks and the false beliefs, and we get to really know our heart during this period. Libra is a very creative sign. We have Venus through air. So in Taurus we have Venus through earth, which can often manifest with rhythmic music, gardening, food, the very tangible, sensual side. Venus through Libra can often be an expression through air. So we have the heart pulsing out, like I say, but we also have that level of creativity, which often is manifested in Libra as song and dance and flow. Can be perfume, can be style, can be poetry. So think of creativity flowing out across the airwaves. As we raise that vibration, can we then pulse that out and celebrate with gratitude our creativity and actually create something? And create means to grow, so we have the whole year to really uplift ourselves and grow our creativity and pulse it out and create a different reality as a result. So those are the horoscopes for this week, and I'll see you next week. I do post these horoscopes up on a daily basis on my Facebook page, so please come and like. If you do like AstroZo on Facebook, you'll get a daily horoscope with a beautiful image that goes with it as well, to give you a reminder of what's currently going on. And likewise in the private Facebook group, we're actually discussing what's going on and where it fits with our chart and how we can work with it. So for just £5 a month, you can come and join in a lively and friendly group and learn astrology and how it is applying to you on a daily and weekly basis. But if you'd like to apply yourself more, then I do have online courses. I have a full astrological course, which is 13 modules, but you're very welcome just to take the first 3, which is the sun, the moon, and the elements. And these form the foundation of my course. So if you just take those 3, and they're very intuitive, you'll have the basis there to begin to learn astrology, to actually get the feel of it, and to carry on your studies with confidence. So 3 modules there can be taken over the next 3 to 6 months at your own pace, and that will give you a really firm grounding. I also have 3 tarot courses, 2 lunar courses, and a feng shui course on how to work with the elements to harmonise your space. So those are standalone modules as well, if you feel like just dipping your toe in the water. Or you're very welcome to come and see me for a one-to-one reading, where we can go as deeply as you like in person or on Skype. So for any of that, please do contact me, zoehines7@gmail.com.